Hey guys, this is my Module 5, Understanding My Community, and my community is St. Mary's Colgan. We are a parish school in the Diocese of Wichita. We are in Pittsburgh, Kansas, but we are still a member of the Diocese of Wichita. This is my third year. I've been here for all 3 years teaching and feel very fortunate to be a part of the community. Sociological inventory. Since we are a parish school and not a public school, that means we do receive limited funding from the public or from the state, but we have to do a lot of our own funding, and this does mean we have lower salaries and have issues with competitive salaries. But I feel like we've done, and that's initiative lately, trying to be competitive with our salaries to keep up with those public schools. But we do have a lot to offer and a lot of good stuff here that public schools don't have, which is also attractive and an incentive for maybe a lower salary. We are a smaller school, so class sizes vary greatly from year to year, but that does stay pretty consistent throughout the years. Fairly new, we are under fairly new leadership. We have a new high school principal right now. We have a president of our schools who is basically our superintendent, who's been here for, I think, 5 years. A new pastor who is our main leader over the church and these schools. He's been here for 1 year, so some fairly new leadership, all great people, just still learning the ropes. And I think it's a very, going to be positive and a strong potential for a good future. So do have growing diversity, and I'll connect with that a little bit later, and I'll connect the Crawford County stats later. Crawford County, Pittsburgh is in Crawford County, and I believe Crawford County is one of, if not the poorest counties in the state. So we are lucky, and since we are a parish school and not a public school, we do not always see those stats or those effects with low SES or poverty, but we do still have some of it, and I'll connect with that a little bit later as well. Customs and traditions here. We are like I said, a parish school, so everything's basically connected and ran through the church. Everything is faith-centered and supposed to be faith-centered. So this goes for everything: our traditions, our history, our sports, our fine arts. Everything is connected through the church. We do have very successful sports programs in history and traditions. Have had a lot of success in a lot of our athletic fields, and it's been cool to being new here and not going to school here, going to high school here, to learn all those traditions and that success that Colgan has had. One of the school's mottos is faith, excellence, and tradition. And we have a lot of, like I said, a lot of tradition, a lot of high academic standards, high success with athletics, and it's all based on being centered around the faith and incorporating the faith within all of those things. Have very high academic standards. Being a new teacher, it's been cool, but also challenging in a good way to learn those standards and how high the standards are at Colgan academically, and then to try to uphold those and reach for those. Produce a lot of, I feel we test very positively, very, very high with state testing, with ACT, etc. High scores there, and we also have a high continuing education rate, sending off kids to college, and then them, opening up businesses throughout the community. We've been very fortunate to have a lot of success there as well. Like I said, small classes, that does allow for individualization, allowing the teachers and the students to develop relationships and kind of form a tight-knit community, give kids one-on-one help, etc. I do feel like we've been a little bit resistant to change, or we have a little bit of resistance to change, since we are have so many traditions and so much history, etc. When something new or a change is made, sometimes, and that's a good thing that there is resistance to that, because our standards are set high, and we don't want to just change those, and we won't just change those with anything. But we implemented a new community system, modeling after some other parish schools in the Diocese of Wichita, Capon and Carroll. It's basically a study hall. It's a different type of a study hall where it's centered around having faith organization, but also giving the kids leadership roles and trying to connect and build relationships among the students that would not normally happen. It did have some work through some hiccups in the first year, but I think already in year 2 it's been going well, and I think there's a lot of potential there for that. Population characteristics: very involved parents. A lot of those are alumni, have been to this school, connected to this school, and now they're working here, have some type of job here. or just connection. And if not, a lot of them are members of our church still and parishioners. So very involved, very connected, very supportive parents. And as well, my fourth bullet point right there, that incorporates and, trickles down with the students. Very involved students in their faith, in their sports, in their academics. They are very, very busy. And that's also what helps, make them so successful is they're able to learn how to balance a lot going on and balance it well, which transitions into life and to growing up and getting a job and et cetera. Small classes, again, those go up traditionally low enrollment. We have some classes in the junior high right now that are traditionally low, but it's usually it works itself out. Pretty balanced with sexes. We do have a recent influx in diversity, kind of a growing Spanish population, and we are trying to work to accommodate that. We've got a priest who is, and all the priests have to, have some type of Spanish background and knowledge with Spanish, but we have a very good Spanish priest right now, and he's really been very good and involved with the Spanish population. Communication channels, pretty advanced with technology and communication. I feel like within the school we are not one-to-one with laptops. We do have 4 laptop carts, and so those do rotate from class to class, but we do have access to a lot of technology. We can communicate with the kids through Canvas and also some other apps. But we have been using Canvas since I've been here, but we were transitioning away from Canvas, kind of a financial move, and didn't feel like we were utilizing what all Canvas had to offer, and it was very expensive. And so this is our last semester with Canvas, and we are going to use Microsoft Teams going forward. It does have a lot of similar stuff and offers a lot of stuff that Canvas does, but it's not as expensive, so we are transitioning in that. So a lot of communication happens over the intercom with announcements, and those announcements are also the students in the community that are the leaders are supposed to announce those announcements as well. But we do a lot of our announcements over the intercom just to make sure everybody's on the same page. We have an app that is through the diocese called Flocknote, and it is basically a principal or a teacher or a coach, whatever their group is, they can send out messages, text messages to parents and to students, and those are all monitored and just in case something were to happen. We are moving away from GroupMe, and yeah, just with the diocese, they try to be extremely careful with communicating with kids and parents as well, trying to make sure we're always monitoring that and using it professionally and in the right way, which is a good thing. We do have social media communication. We have Facebook and Twitter and Instagram pages for the school and for different programs as well. We communicate with parents that way. We communicate with parents through email and the students and through the community system as well. And like I said, a growing Spanish-speaking population and trying to accommodate that as well. Community groups, there's a lot of faith groups within our school, within our community, a lot of different religious groups, RYC, RCIA, the Knights, the boys group, Girls Graces group. There's a lot of different faith groups, which is a really cool thing and a really special thing as well. A lot of different sports groups as well, are different athletic programs, but also we have a booster club, which is extremely helpful for a lot of different things athletically. They provide a ton of funding for all of our athletic programs. Basically, whatever the athletic program needs, they get done, and they're extremely generous and good at what they do. Whether that be taking care of transportation costs to away games, to state trips, hotels, whether that be equipment that is needed, or uniforms, jerseys, etc. They do a ton of different stuff. They're very involved, very helpful. Very good at what they do. We do have a Division II college, Pittsburgh State University here, and we also have a large public high school, Pittsburgh High School. And we have different cooperations, different groups with them. We offer some online classes, some college courses through Pitt State, and we do offer some different programs that we connect with Pittsburgh High School. We used to have a cross-country team that went with Pittsburgh High. Not anymore. We have our own cross-country team. We now have a soccer team with Pittsburgh High School, a tennis team where we compete with them, practice with them. So we have a really good relationship with them. We also share the same high school football field as them. Community system, the new community system that I said, as well as getting kids involved. They're volunteering for different things, whether it's like working a concession stand for a junior high volleyball game, etc. We have a St. Gianna Health Academy class as well that a lot of girls participate in that want to go into the medical field. It's been pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of different groups within or at Colgan. Our leadership, we're a member of the Diocese of Wichita, so they are our leaders. But since we are a ways away from them, down here in Pittsburgh, we kind of have our own bubble, and our bubble, it starts at the pastor, the priests are the leaders, the top dogs, not just with our church, but also with all our schools. So we have 4 priests, one is the pastor, and the pastor is our main leader. He's our top leader, and the priest after that. We have a president of schools who is basically our superintendent. We have a high school and an elementary principal. We have an assistant principal at the high school, and then we have I feel like experienced teachers that are really good leaders throughout the school with teachers. They've been here a lot of years. They know the system and how it works. Veteran coaches, the booster club, and also church leaders. Characteristics of these community leaders: a lot of them have a ton of connection, a ton of years with the school. They're alumni. They went to school here. They have kids that have went to school here. And although the pay may not be great here, there's a lot to offer here, and they have vested their time and their lives, dedicated their lives to the school. They've got a lot of respect with them among the church, but also with lay people or people that are not connected to the church. Pretty widely known, whether they're coaches and have had a lot of success athletically, or just throughout the community being involved. There's been a lot of success. They're known and they're pretty respected. These guys, in my experience, in my opinion, know the system, know how we operate, and that really is what helps them do what they do. Economic conditions, we don't receive state funding, or we do receive very limited. Our booster club helps with that. We also have a lot of extremely generous donors. We have tithing, so all the parents pay tithing. It's supposed to be 10% of their salary to the school, and this helps allow for us to do what we do at the school. They have to pay school fees as well for their kids. Booster Club does a lot with the economics, the financial situations. But like I said, Crawford County does have a lot of poverty, low SES statistics, but we are lucky that we don't see a ton of those. We do have a pretty cheap cost of living in Pittsburgh, so that definitely helps. Political structure, again, limited state funding. I don't think you can separate politics from education. And so we need to work as a team with that. We need to be open to communication and open to change. But yeah, again, a lot of donors that are generous, alumni that are generous, businesses that donate and work with us. We are very lucky with that. Social tensions. We have a stewardship atmosphere, which means you're supposed to be generous with your time, money, all of that, treasures. And I feel like we have a very welcoming community. We don't have a lot of cliques and gangs. If we do, it would be like sports gangs, and it's just because they spend a lot of time together, I feel like. But I don't think they're very welcoming, I feel like. We do have competition, I think, among competitive parents and programs, but I feel like that's a good thing. That's helped keep us, pushing for success. Extra sources of information. We have questionnaires going through the diocese, questionnaires going through the community system. We try to gauge the parents as well as the students, and we're trying to get more polls and questionnaires going out. But yeah. Religious councils as well, try to gauge this stuff, booster club as well, since they are working with the parents a lot of the time. Again, power structure starts with the diocese, works through our priests, our principals, multicultural issues. We have a very strict handbook, a lot of policies that are allowed at public schools, not allowed here, whether that be their hair has to be cut and cannot be touching their ears, stuff like that outlined in the handbook policy, a strict dress code. All the students have to have community service hours to be every year to be able to graduate. Power structure, again, like I said, through the diocese. Public opinion, we have several surveys. Like I said, we try to gauge the parents as well as the students. We also have a parish office that has Monday through Friday business hours that offers a lot of communication that way. Thank you guys.